what we call the parts, like for example this TV, right? Ultimately, it's made of consciousness also. The realization of the oneness is not the same as the realization that everything is consciousness. These are two different realizations. You can have the realization that everything is one, and still you have not tapped into the core of reality. The core of reality is, again, consciousness in everything. If you want to trigger that particular realization that everything is consciousness, then you use the pointer, everything is consciousness, right? So you begin to use it, and you look at something and you say, this is consciousness, right? And then you look at something else and this is consciousness, and you begin to remind yourself of the truth until at some point it stops being a thought and it becomes a revelation, an intuitive realization that everything, including this or anything, is actually consciousness. And the pointer you use is everything is consciousness, right? You look at this room and you say, everything here is consciousness, until you begin to feel it. Another approach.
Everything is consciousness, everything is oneness.
Yeah.
Yes, on top of it, right? So there you are connecting again the formless, the form, and everything in its ultimate reality. Yeah. So Ayashantis has a very nice way to put this, and let me see if I find it, because I usually have it here in my it says, in our entire search for spirit, another word for consciousness or the divine, in our entire search for spirit, we are doing it in a world where there is nothing but spirit, right? And that is ultimately the fundamental realization. So that is the ultimate realization. Everything is consciousness. Now, Ayashanti had an interesting way to do this, which was more than using a pointer. He was doing inquiry. How he was doing it? He was looking at objects, and he said that he was doing it for a long time, and he was asking it, what is this really, right? What is this really? And well, at some point, the realization came to him. Everything is consciousness, right? So you can use the pointer, everything is consciousness, to try to penetrate the veil and see behind form the essence of form, or you can use the inquiry and begin to ask, okay, what is this really, this computer? What is this really? And until suddenly, you get the realization. Your devotion to the question, your interest in the question brings about the intuitive realization that you're looking for.
Kind of like the religious saying that there is nowhere that God is not, except that would assume that God is separate as another name, another form. But the idea that there is nowhere where God is not.
Right, exactly.
There's nowhere that consciousness is not.
So Gina is saying that's in the Course of Miracles?
I'm not sure if it was
Right.
a biblical saying or where it came from.
There is nowhere that God is not. Sorry, what did you say?
That is not the Course.
Not the Course of Miracles. Okay. But it's correct. There is nowhere that God is not, means there is nowhere that consciousness is not. And if it's nowhere, it means that, let's say, we have this, right? And say, okay, then consciousness is here, right? It's penetrating this cup. And then we think, oh, but there are particles inside that where consciousness is not, but that contradicts the idea of omnipresence, right? If it is omnipresent, inside the particle, God is there, right? Or consciousness is there. And then if you go into subparticles and subparticles and subparticles, still in every particle, consciousness is there, right? So the level of intimacy between this, the level of penetration of consciousness, or we could say even space, into this cup is such that in reality the cup and consciousness are one thing.
What was a word that came to mind for this whole thing? Simultaneous. Like everything's happening simultaneously. All at once. It's just, does that make sense? You know, the word simultaneous.
Rather than a beginning and end, rather
it's
than
just
linear
like-
Yes.
thinking, it's
Yes.
all just business.
Yeah, simultaneously, everything is happening simultaneously would be a pointer to the realization that there is just the now and time is an illusion of the mind, meaning it's imagination of the mind, right?
Yeah.
So there you have another pointer in non-duality that is pointer to the now in this case.
And like simultaneously, the cup, the room, us.
Right, everything is simultaneous.
So it just came in
Yesterday,
mind.
tomorrow.
Yes.
What a good word to make me kind of get it. The words seem to resonate.
Right.
I don't know if that resonated. It just seemed to define it easier for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Whatever pointer works for you to put you there, that's your pointer, right?
Simultaneous.
Simultaneously, okay, it works, use it, right? The experience is an intuitive experience.
Yeah.
The word is only a pointer. It's like the finger pointing to the moon. The finger is not the moon. The finger is not the intuitive realization. The pointer is not the intuitive realization. The pointer is only pointing to the intuitive realization. It's a tool. We want the intuitive realization that here everything is one. Right? That there is no time, there is no space, there is no consciousness, there's just this. Right? As another pointer in non-duality, a beautiful pointer in fact, this. Right? So simple. This, just this, nothing else. Another very precise pointer. If we use the word that, we may be referring more to the formless, right? That, the formless. But this is the totality, the self-aware universe. Yes. And by the way, there is a book called The Self-Aware Universe. It was written by a quantum physicist.
Goswami.
Yes. Yes. Swami, right? Did you read it? No? Okay.
In Sanskrit, there's the phrase "thou art that," but that might be a bad translation. Maybe it should say "thou art this."
Yes.
Tattva asi is
Yes.
I think it's
So Roy is saying that in the Sanskrit scriptures there is thou that, but in reality it should say thou this. Good. This.
if you don't see a difference, it doesn't matter. Except for some
good. Then
people,
you're
it feels
there,
different.
babe.
If you don't see any difference in that and this, then this is that.
So how interesting that with a few words, like the ones we have discussed, rest as awareness, universe, these, oneness. With these few words, we could create reminders, and you put them in different rooms in your home. Once you see it, right, you grab it for a moment, you grab the pointer for a moment, and you go there. You go where the pointer is pointing, right? So you can get into the habit of going into your restroom, and in the restroom you see in the mirror this, right? And then you just use the pointer to go there. Every time you go into the restroom, you use that pointer, this. Every time you go into the living room, you use restless awareness, right? And so on. You go into your bedroom and you use the word universe. So
Most of these don't make sense logically, which is the beauty of it.
sorry?
Most of these pointers do not make sense logically.
No, they don't make. They are not supposed to make a sense logically.
Yeah, that's
Right,
the beauty of it.
right. That is the beauty, because they are pointing to something that is not bound by logic. If the divine was bound by logic, then it would be limited. Logic is limited. Logic is useful only in up to a point, and then after that, intuition is the only way to access the greatest truth of the universe. You cannot access them through rational thinking or experimentation with rational interpretations.
Breaks things up into beats.
Right, into
beats that it
parts.
can understand.
Right.
So it can't ever grasp unity.
Right. So the problem with science, is that it idealizes reason and puts reason at the top. And in reality, reason is not at the top. Reason is a servant just for the basics of life. But after that, we need to use intuition.
That's what Einstein said.
Yeah,
Hmm?
and
That's what Einstein said.
Even Einstein said that, of course. So any question in regard to all this?
These are very useful.
Yes.
Yes, they're useful pointers, absolutely. And you can make use of them, and I highly recommend the reminders, yeah, because otherwise we can come to a class or a satsang like this, and then we say, oh, very useful, this is interesting. But then they don't touch our lives, right? We want to touch our lives. Another way to do it is, if it's not with reminders, is to establish habits of relaxing, like for example having a walk during the day, taking the time to walk, and then during the walk use the pointers, right? Not being caught in work all the time, because if we are caught in work all the time, we are caught in thinking all the time, and we don't have time, to go beyond thinking, to go into the intuitive. And so by creating habits, the most typical, teachers will tell you is create the habit of meditating in the morning and meditating at night. But I would say that walking works equally well. Having a nice walk, and so instead of having the coffee in the office, you go for a walk and you have the coffee in a coffee bean 1 mile away from your office, right? And then you have the time to walk back and forth and to work with the pointers. And sometimes, you will feel that a pointer is coming to you. Follow that. Don't try to choose the pointer with your mind. You begin your walk and suddenly one of them comes to you, and then use that one, because it's likely that consciousness is whispering to you through intuition, use this today. So instead of making a decision with the little mind and say, oh, okay, now today I'm going to practice this. I'm going to say just this and this and this. Maybe that day the best was a different pointer.
can you go over those pointers? I should have written them down.
Those pointers again.
I knew I should write these down.
See?
So I brought my book.
Roy came with paper and pen.
I knew this would be
No, you will get the recording anyway.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it may take a month, but you will get it.
I'm going to type it up because this is really messy. Even
Oh,
for me.
all right.
No problem. I'll email it to. Do I have your email address?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
But let's review them, okay? Let's this is easy, okay? So first one was yes, exactly, yes.
Yes.
To obliterate the resistance to what is.
Yeah.
Paper.
Pen and paper.
to move into the non-resistant state.
I will share a very practical way that this has helped me. I used to worry about, are the pets, are the animals all going to wherever we go after, is it heaven or the next world or whatever it is. I always used to worry about the animals, and now when I realize it doesn't matter because we're all the same and we're all
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah,
you
we're
know,
all one.
okay. So that was very helpful for
Ah.
me. It took like a grief aspect.
The grief
away.
aspect away,
There's
huh?
no end. You know, it just we just all. Yeah.
One being.
Yeah.
We are one being, right?
Those little animals.
So, and that includes the animals,
Yeah.
right? There's just one being. Very good. That's another pointer, right?
Be.
Being.
Being.
Just one being. Or one consciousness. It's just one consciousness. One
Is it-
formless
is it-
consciousness.
We're all, you just giving us a new one. We're
Sorry?
all one being. That's a new
What
one.
was after yes?
One being.
After yes, resting as awareness. And after that, resting as open awareness.
And the next one was missing as ultimate awareness?
Open.
No,
Open.
open awareness.
That's right.
Then, remember the next one?
One being, one consciousness.
Okay, the
The
first
next-
one was yes. The second one was rest as awareness or rest as open awareness. Third one was just the word the universe.
The word universe, yes. Then the word this.
No, then the next one was everything is consciousness.
Then, yes, everything is consciousness.
After that came
Wait,
every.
slow down.
Sorry,
I can't. I'm saying a
I'll
short.
say a sentence duality.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
But that's what you want now.
Okay.
After that came everything is happening simultaneously.
Okay.
After that came everything is one. And after that came this. And this, now you're talking, almost just a minute ago, you were talking about something that sounded like you're giving us another pointer when you said, we are all one being. That sounded like another pointer.
Yes, another
Slipped
pointer,
in
yes.
there accidentally.
Yes, yes. Yes, there are countless pointers. In fact, we are looking into the most traditional ones in non-duality, right? But there are countless pointers. Oneness is a pointer too, right?
And now.
God is a pointer too, by the way. And obviously, we don't want the word God. It's an idea only. We want God itself, right? So God is the word pointing to spirit. Spirit is another pointer.
Pointing to consciousness. Spirit is a word pointing to consciousness.
Spirit is consciousness,
But
right?
some people take spirit
It's-
like as separate, you know, like they
Yeah.
don't understand. They think there's a spirit
That's right.
that's separate, but there's not. But some people think that.
Every word implies a separate something.
Yeah, the word spirit in the Native American tradition, spirit was the equivalent to Brahma or
That's the
to
great spirit.
the Great Spirit. Yes. Oh, another one that we didn't discuss, which comes from Buddhism, right, is emptiness. And another good one is there is no one here, which points to the emptiness inside you, inside the body, as there is no one separate existence here. There is just the consciousness, the universal consciousness, which is empty because it's not an object, looking through the mind-body organism, right? So a very nice pointer, in fact, is there is no one here because you begin to feel empty inside, right? There is no one here. The word emptiness itself. Void is another one. The void.
I've been using now, like when I'm trying.
Now is another pointer,
Now,
yes.
now.
Now it helps to bring you here and now.
I could have told him